Oh, hey guys. Paul Parnell here for Film in a Year Project. Glad you could make it. So this week, we're going to talk about rewriting. Have you rewritten your script before? How would you do it? I'm going to give you a few tips, and I'm also going to talk to you about my script writing partner, Rich Hornrath. So as you saw in last week's video, we had an awesome meetup, and a lot of people came, and we really enjoyed the whole process. It was great hanging out, and we read through the script. And that was a really cool experience, getting to see people reading the script that I had written. I learned a lot, and I took a lot away from it. So now that we have a finished rough draft, we can start the rewrite and kind of shaping it. It's sort of, I'm imagining we've got the rough shapes overall, and now we're going to kind of polish everything and sharpen it all up. So I wanted to talk to you a bit about my writing partner, Rich Hornrath. He is a really awesome local writer that I met a few weeks ago. We've talked about the script together, and he's helped me to verbally think about things, being able to talk it out with him. Now, we did something very interesting. I don't think this is probably standard practice for writing a script together with somebody, but what we did is I wrote my version of the script, and then while I was writing my version, it was almost like a race, which he won, and he wrote his version of the script. So we both had the same beat sheets, we both had the same storyboard, or the same beat board, and we went off in our own direction, and we wrote our own scripts. So this week, and while I was on vacation, I've actually been reading through his version of the script, and it's been really interesting to see kind of the directions that he went and the tone that he captured, especially from communicating. It's interesting how we can, two people, well, a lot of people can look at the same thing and all get something a little bit different. So from this experience, what I've really gotten was an interesting new perspective. By reading through his script, I definitely have seen things that I wouldn't have thought of and didn't think of when I was writing my script. And I definitely know that there's several things that we'll be incorporating within the new script. So it's definitely going to be a Paul Parnell and Rich Hornrath finalized script, I think. So some of the other things that I got, besides a new perspective and new ideas, is just having that writing partner, somebody to throw kind of the script back and forth with, as well as has several scripts under his belt, and it kind of makes me feel secure being kind of connected with somebody who's written several scripts, and that way I can feel like, his feedback makes more sense, or his feedback has kind of grounds to stand on, and so that's been very interesting. So I definitely recommend, if you guys want to connect with him, I'll put his information below. And if you don't want to connect with him, but just want to connect with another script writer, check out Craigslist, check out Stage 32. There's definitely people out there that are interested in doing writing, doing scripts. So do that. So next I'm going to talk about the rewrite. So what does that look like, rewriting a script? How would you do it? How I'm going to do it, I will describe right now. Here. Now. So first off, I've got kind of 3 tips and sort of strategies that I'm going to implement and have implemented in rewriting the script. So the first thing is get feedback. So give your script to positive, truthful people to read through and let them know what you think. Give it to people that really enjoy your genre. Give it to people that don't enjoy your genre. The more kind of tests you can do in the different areas, the more sort of useful information you'll be able to call back and see, like, was your script kind of hitting the points that you wanted it to hit? Were those jokes actually funny? Were people connecting with your characters? So that's definitely a good idea. And then have a way to collect that feedback. So during our meetup, we actually gave everybody cards so that they could write their feedback on, and I read through it all, and that way when I go back to the rewrite, I have all of their perspective and I can take any of it into consideration, like, oh, that I really agree with that, or maybe I don't agree with that, but like, it gives me a chance to think about the movie from a different perspective. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a list of all the things that I want to add and want to change. And that way, instead of just as I'm going through the script kind of sprinkling things in, I'll be able to look at the overall scope of the whole movie and go, okay, I'd like to add this kind of line in here of these events to connect things together so that it's not, so micro connected within the movie that I don't see the overall picture. Another thing I'm going to do within this step is I'm going to write everything out on scene cards and add them to my beat board. Just like I've done with all of the other scenes that I've created, if it doesn't fit in the beat board, then it doesn't fit in your movie. Now the last tip or strategy that I'm going to use is creating qualifying questions. Wow, that was a lot of qua. So what that means is for every scene as I'm reading through my script, which you should do, I'm going to create a series of questions that I will ask myself to make sure that this scene fits within my movie. So for me, the questions that I've decided are, does this scene fit the tone? Does this fit the tone that I'm trying to create within my movie? So our tone, for instance, is something similar to a Rush Hour, where it's lighthearted, but there's some action and there's room for a little bit of drama, but it never has that like heavy sort of dark tone. Overall, I feel like the movie's much more of like an Avengers than like a Watchmen, for instance. The next question I'm going to ask is, are the characters congruent? From scene to scene, do the characters make decisions that go along with who they are? If you do something outside of character, are you doing it for the right reasons? Like, does it make sense for the story? Is it make sense for that character to act out of character? So I'm going to ask that question. And another question I'm going to ask is, can the story survive without this scene? Is this scene integral to the overall story? And if not, do I need to cut it? Is it lagging out my story, or is it actually helping in some way? Well, if it's helping, then it is integral. So, and my last question, and this is mostly important for people that are producing their own movie, is can you do this scene within your time frame and your budget? So do you have the money and the time to actually make this scene happen? So if, for instance, there's some scenes that I would like to add, maybe like a spaceship scene where, aliens are fighting inside of a spaceship. I would love to make that, but that's probably not within the budget and scope of the movie that we're currently creating. I would really like it to be in there. It could definitely add something, but because it won't fit within our budget and our time frame, it doesn't make sense for me to write it, unless I'm just writing a version of the movie in which, the sky's the limit. So those are my tips. Get feedback, make a list, and create qualifying questions. I hope that helps you, and I'd love to hear any of your tips on how to handle rewriting your script. Make sure that if you want to be a part of the Film in a Year project, you go to paulparnell.com/work with us and fill out the form. That will add you into our database. So if you want to be an actor and be in the film, or if you want to be a crew and be behind the scenes, or if you have props, locations, or want to financially support the project, you can do it all on that page. And we're happy to have any of you and all of you. We definitely want to create an atmosphere and a community where people can have fun making movies together. So thanks for watching, and let's go make a movie.